Invincible might be the best superhero show ever made. And yes, I know one of my biggest videos on my channel is me saying that Daredevil and his 3 Netflix seasons are the best superhero show of all time. But with how good Invincible has been, and if it is able to keep up this pace for the next few seasons, it might just be a done deal. I'm going to speed run through why you need to be watching this show, and when you're done watching this show, you'll be just like me and be depressed knowing we probably got a good 4 years until we get season 3. But even with that, here's why you're a dum-dum if you're not watching Invincible. Invincible is a superhero show following a teenager named Mark Grayson who gets superhero powers. Invincible is so far 2 seasons long, with 8 episodes each that are around an hour long. It's a super fast show to get all catched up on, but one of its most brilliant aspects is how it uses its runtime and the amount of time to really make sure each season feels like a distinct arc for Invincible in his superhero journey. Usually in superhero movies we have to rush along to get everything into the movie, so if we're doing a superhero movie trilogy, it has to be very concise and really compact. The first movie is the origin movie, then the second movie in the trilogy is going to be the superhero in their prime, and the third movie is going to be the fall of the hero and then becoming stronger than ever, and then we wrap it all up. Here in Invincible though, we don't have to rush that at all. The whole first season is dedicated to Mark not only getting his powers, but all the nuances of being a superhero, getting beat up for the first time, his big mistakes, getting his superhero outfit created by Mark Hamill, having to deal with his version of the Justice League, and all the complications of Mark having to be a superhero and then having to balance that out with his normal life. And that first season is absolutely incredible and is one of the best superhero origins we've ever seen on television. And unlike nearly every other superhero show, Invincible Season 2 doesn't have a sophomore slump. Season 2 is still incredible, now focusing though on the sacrifices and pain that come as the reality sets in, as Mark has to come to realize that he has to sacrifice so much more when he's the main defender of Earth. And for a show that is so famous for its incredible fights and its shocking moments, it's one of the best written shows that's on television right now. Every character feels so depthful and unique. You know where all of them are coming from, and the amount of time for subplots and character motivations to be shown allows these characters not only to transcend the stereotypes of good guys and bad guys, which we usually see heavily intertwined with the superhero genre, but allows character complexities and nuances that make more sense in a superhero show that's targeted more at adults. It makes us feel like a more modern depiction of what a superhero with insane powers in the modern age would be, while also having, you know, your fun, goofy comic book stuff like a teleporting Walton Goggins. And the show is so fantastic and engaging with its main story, even if you delete all of the characters, due to how this show is building off all of the tropes and superhero ideas that we have come to know before, and then playing with our expectations. Ever since The Last Jedi came out, there's been this stupid idea that people hate the idea of subverting your expectations, but it's actually a good thing, because you know what subverting your expectations is? It's this scene in Invincible that you all love. This show is never stagnant, and it always plays on what we think is going to happen and then does the opposite. And I think that's why this show plays so well for an older audience, because this is a show for people that have grown up with superhero shows and are going to be able to appreciate how this show is taking everything that has come before and building off that entire genre. It's kind of like Evangelion, where it pays off more if you know the genre it's coming from. And yes, the other reason I mentioned why this is for an older audience is because of, intense amounts of gore, language, and all that jazz, kid stuff. Now, obviously, this is not a show for kids, and we all know that, but this show's violence, which at times is extreme, never feels that it uses its mature rating to be grossly indulgent like some other shows. When the violence is used, it's used for shock value to show us how we couldn't comprehend what has happened, just like these characters. Some of the most emotional and powerful moments come from the intense violence and horror of what we are seeing, and the show is mature with how it restricts its use of violence for its truly most impactful moments. And I know, the first comparison everyone thinks of when they're looking at Invincible and how violent it is The Boys. And I think that's a fair comparison though, because both of these shows handle their intense subject matter way differently, and I think The Boys does it way worse. Now let me be clear, I do like The Boys. I think it's a good show, but at times every season it feels like it has to outgross itself in a new way, so everyone logs on Twitter and goes, "Oh no way they did that, bro!" Invincible though never really feels like it stoops down to that level of appalling just to the lowest common denominator for the sake of it. Invincible's writing is interweaved perfectly with its intensity, wrapping up when it gets insane and slowing down and having the character moments take over when we need a break. And that combination of fantastic writing along with these amazing characters and an incredible pace, and a show that looks and sounds amazing with incredible voice actors with the steady hand of the stories that have come before, being the blueprint for where this show is going, has made Invincible a show that is absolutely brilliant. It's a subversive yet fundamental show in the superhero landscape right now, and it shows to other studios how to adapt comics to film and television effortlessly. It's so intense and engaging and exciting and so deep and unique. and also it's just so much fun that you have no excuse not to check it out. Give the first episode a chance and you will not be able to put this down, I promise you that. This show is an absolute jam and somehow has J.K. Simmons talking to Seth Rogen as Mr. Crab interrogates them. And just to witness stuff like that on a week-to-week basis, I'll be forever grateful. I love Invincible. Season 1 for me is a 9 out of 10, Season 2 is a strong 8, borderline 9, and I cannot wait for Season 3. But I will wait for it if like the animators are getting crunched. Don't crunch them, Amazon. I don't want to have another one of those season split in half fiascos. That was awful. Anyways, I got some final papers to write. I gotta go. Anyways, you guys have a great rest of your week, and when the next video comes out, I'll see you then. Bye.